Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. And thank you very much, Mark, for the endless generosity for the membershipies. That'll probably pay for a new inner tube for my bike. Oh god, now we got all the 8,000 notifications from everyone who uploaded videos this week. Ah, joy. You'd think I'd do this ahead of schedule, wouldn't you, really? But fact is, I haven't turned the laptop on since last live stream, so there we go. Oh god, there's more of them coming through. There we are. I think we got them all now. So yes, evening Mark, evening Sam, Mr. Yeller, how you doing? No, we're still getting more coming through. Oh, dry dock bonus. So yeah. Good dear. Really has been a long while since I turned that thing on. Hello, Marek, my lovely. How are you? Always best ever seeing you. Big hug. Yes. So yeah, it's been a fun one this week. Well, not really. Obviously, water changes work and bruising my butt, but you know, minor problems. Do have, unfortunately, a couple of ex-fishies to report, which is always a sad day. Missy Pisto is no longer. I'm assuming, because I've not seen her all week, I couldn't find her anywhere in the tank. And there's a lot of snails in there, so they're going to get rid of the body very quickly. And also, same tank, Ginger, the female longfin super red bristlenose that I've been breeding all my super red bristlenoses from. It's unfortunately the same thing, although I did find her skull. Did an extra water change just to make sure. It doesn't seem to be anything awry with the tank. Everything checks out. So yeah, these things happen. Fishies die, and it's not like I can't replace Ginger, but it's not like I'm short a few longfin super red bristlenoses to grow out a female and pop in with Fred. Bonsoir, Angelique. Ça va? I'm doing okay, thank you very much. A bit warm for me, but you know. Anytime the temperature starts with a 2, it's a bit too warm for me. And that's in Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Even I think the temperature that starts with 2 in Fahrenheit is cold. Ooh, fishies, birdies, snailies, and froggy, all good. Good. So yes, we had the losses. Work has been work. Water changes are water changes. Apologies for not uploading any kind of video this week, but I kind of got a bit carried away with other things, and yeah, just completely slipped my mind last night when I got home from work. Yeah, and then also I did another, it was a 26-mile ride this time, but about 4 miles of it were off road, as in pretty much imagine a downhill mountain bike trail, but horizontal because Norfolk. Yeah, so my bike's not designed for that. And neither is my bum, it turns out. There's a couple of days after, I had a rather bruised buttocks. But hey ho, it's all part of my training, as it were. They're not quite cow paths. I was on the Pedder's Way, which, when you look at it on videos, it looks like a lovely smooth gravel road. That bit of it wasn't. It was more of a tank track. Although perhaps I was going a bit quick down there because I did catch and overtake someone on a mountain bike, which he wasn't too happy about. But there we go. You shouldn't have such low gearing on your bike. You should be able to go a bit faster. But yeah, as I say, not far off cow paths. Some of the roads the actual roads I was on weren't far off cow paths either. Radcar Road was particularly interesting. Single track road, so wide enough for one car, with about a 2 foot section of grass down the middle of it, and then very flinty and potholy and up and downy and nasty, and yeah. And that was only a couple of miles, well, about 4 miles into the ride. So, and I chose to do it on a nice hot day as well, which didn't help. But hey, there we go. I wore white, and I wore my bike helmet, which allows quite a lot of air through, so my head wasn't overheating, which is always a bonus. Howdy, Fish Fam Linkbot. How you doing? Other than that, it's been a relatively quiet week. Oh, pardon me. I'm going to say quiet, a lot of work, but yeah. Now I've got another 4 days of work before I get another day off, so joy. Oh no, something's not responding. IdeaPad BIOS update. Pressing OK will start the installation. Yeah, I don't want that. You've been telling me that for about a year. But always wait till I'm in a live stream to come up and tell me it. So yes, there we go. But only 3 more weeks and I've got a week off. So yes, I've got to get myself fit and healthy and be doing, what was it, 45-mile ride on my week off on one day. So I'll probably be regretting my choices for the next 2 or 3 days after that. But there we go. It's just whether I get myself a pair of the lycra shorts with the butt padding so you look like a baboon in heat. I'll not wear them underneath another pair of shorts. Because as I've said before, nobody needs to see me in lycra. Not even Marrett would like to see me in lycra. It's not going to be a good look. And if I do lycra, it's certainly not coming on a video. Yeah. Other than that, all is well. Um, Mary's well. She's enjoying her summer holidays. If you're, yeah, I'm thinking brown would be a better idea, Mark. um, Purely because it will be muddy. Um, yeah, so as Mary was out taking photos again this week, she went up to Dunwich and Southwold for the Southwold Church, Gun Hill, Dunwich Church, a couple of shots of the beach, the last grave, um, and all sorts of other cool stuff up there on. I can't remember what the name of her Facebook group is. Historic buildings in Norfolk and Suffolk, something like that. Let me grab my phone and I'll find out. Ooh. It's only if you want to look at pretty old buildings and churches and cool things around this area, and you don't want to have me waffling at you, which I wouldn't blame anyone for. Um, and I'm sure she wouldn't say no to a few more people joining. All right. I will write it in chat because it's quite a mouthful. So it's here. Help if you click in the right box, Sharpe. Historic churches and places of Norfolk and some super weird place, Suffolk. There we go. Remember how to send a message, that might help. So yes, that's Mary's Facebook page where she goes around exploring all ancient and wonderful historical part of the counties. So if you are Facebookers, pop over and leave a like, join, all the you know what to do. Tell them tell a Sharpie sent you. Yeah, so I really don't lead that much of an interesting life to have enough to talk about for a 2-hour live stream, do I? I could probably go through it in 5 minutes. Never mind. Rod back made. What else has tickled my fancy this week? Yeah, I've not even watched anything kind of memorable. I mean, I'll probably watch things that are memorable. I just can't remember them. Very strange things going on. I've been trolling people on Reddit and Facebook as usual, so nothing new there. A couple of carrying customers. Yeah, nothing too bad. Nothing really to write home about. Howdy doody Zen and Quirky. Ah yes. Don't forget to stick your thumb up. It wasn't my thumb, I stuck up your bum. It was my finger. Pre-war mints are a minty bit stronger. Stick 'em up your bum and they last a bit longer. Oh dear God. Yes, I am that old. It's the other thing I did. Cleaned my bike and managed to get a bunch of grease all over my shorts, but you know, the general chain gunk and grease and all that kind of stuff. I think I might have to replace the rear inner tube. I think that's got a slow puncture in it. We shall find out. Pumped it up again this morning, and we'll see how it is tomorrow. Hello, Debs. How are you, my dearie? But yeah, we had. It's been one of those nasty weather weeks again. It's been all dry and sunny, and I don't like it. It's not good. We were having a lovely summer. It was all lovely and cool and damp. And then someone opened the Eye of Sauron again up in the sky, and get rid of that thing. Only another month or so left of summer. Then the weather will start improving. Probably just in time for me to go, you know what, it's cold, wet and windy, I don't want to go on a long bike ride. So that's probably the next thing I'm going to have to buy. Probably a Gore-Tex, a lightweight Gore-Tex windproof, waterproof jacket that's breathable. That's probably going to end up stinking to high heaven very quickly. So yes, we might have to be looking for one of them soon. That'll be after a pair of padded undershorts. And yeah, they just don't look good. But hey, if it prevents a little bit of bruising and pain on the posterior, that'll be a bonus. But the other changes of the bike seem to have worked. The old carpal tunnel's not playing up anymore, and my hands aren't going quite as numb. And my feet and man parts aren't going numb either. So that was the main worry. Because when the old fella goes numb, you kind of feel like you're wetting yourself constantly, and you have to keep checking that you aren't. Oh, now it's doing Mama Bear stuff. So, Kate, you do Mama Bear stuff? Mum stuff is more important than random weirdo on internet stuff. And Zach is not judging you. I mean, he is. He judges everyone and everything constantly, but you know, that's just the way he always was. Oh, and anyone who just wants to watch some cute once in a while, that is one YouTube channel randomly turned up on my feed, and I was intrigued by the title of one of the videos, and it's Girl with Dogs and Girl with Dogs 2. She has two channels, and she's a groomer of animals. And yeah, lots of very, very cute, very big, floofy dogs. And it's just cute. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's just something very cute to watch. And for once, it's a channel with a girl, and I'm not watching it for the girl. Get your butt out of the way. Show me the floof. Show me the floofy creature. Oh, what a good boy. Yeah, that kind of thing. When you find yourself sitting there saying to the TV, oh, you're a good boy. Howdy, Kenny. How you doing? Pop in and say, hey, real quick. Or would that be, hey? Was it Keith? I get confused. My brain is melted. As I always say at work, I am awful with names. Some days I forget my own. So please, nobody take offence if I forget your name. It's not a personal thing. It's not that I don't think it's memorable. It's just that my brain does not. Keith, yeah, it was one or the other. But yeah, my brain just doesn't comprehend names. I'm not one of these people who can see someone once or twice and I'll remember their name. It takes dozens, and it still might not sink in. As I make a joke regularly, the reason I work in retail is I get to wear a name badge. So therefore, if I do forget my name, I can just look down and there it is. Also means all my co-workers are wearing name badges as well. So yeah, memory's overrated. Yes, as I say, there are certain things we don't want to remember that we do, and there are things we do want to remember that we don't. Very strange. Again, mine is too many head injuries and too many substances over the years. So I can reel off random facts and stuff all day long, but I won't remember what the person's name is I'm talking to. I'm also having a bad hair day. It's rather humid, and I washed it this morning, so it's just gone super floofy. And it's just not staying where I want it to. I really can't be bothered to go get an elastic band and tie it up. Yeah, one of them kind of weeks, really. How is everyone else? How has everyone else's week been? Hopefully, positive thing. If I remember your face and your name, it's a bonus. Well, I'm honoured then. Well, I hope you remember my face. You see it often enough. Thank you. Thank you, Linkbot. Yes. Don't forget to hit the like button, Fish Pam. Although, no, we're over 50%, so I'm happy with that. I know we have to make the algorithm happy. But, you know, since when have I worried about what the algorithm and what you're supposed to do for YouTube and what works and what gets views and how to do this and how to do that? Yes, the storm did hit this week, Merritt. It was a bit windy down here for a day or so, but that was about it. Nothing really bad. I think further north got it worse than we did, but yeah, we've got a bit of wind here, and then probably completely unrelated, a really tiny thunderstorm that hit yesterday. I say really tiny because I heard a rumble and went, "Was that thunder?" Looked outside, heard a second rumble, and went, "Oh, it was," and that was it. Uh, East of England, I say we either get the weather or we don't. It depends which direction it comes from. If it comes across the North Sea, we get it hard. If it comes across from the Atlantic, it tends to miss Norfolk completely. A bit of wind and a rumble. It wasn't actually that, although I did get accused of that at work the other day. Oh dear. Most of your part of Norway got hit hard. Oh, hope nothing too bad. No bad accidents or anything. And hope you and yours are all fine. There was nothing too nasty. Why's my phone pinging at me? G'day, Adele. How are you, my dearie? Hope all is well down under. Oh, that's just Mary saying she's got home. There we go. Ooh. Yes, there we are. That's about the extent. Oh, Shelley's having a scrap. I say having a scrap. I mean just digging stuff up and throwing it at each other. But on the upside, Marek, you may have got the storm pretty bad, but at least it's not cold enough yet for it to have been snow. Oof, half east Norway lost power, rose, a lot of homes went in the water. Oof, yeah, not good. Yeah, I think we had a bit of flooding further north, but it kind of looped around and we just we didn't even get the strong winds here. We just got a bit breezy, really. I think it went around the top of the Pennines and across. Or if it came from Norway direction, just went up and above us. Yeah, thankfully, Norfolk doesn't usually flood too badly. Unlike some places. I mean, the main reason for that is, well, most of it lies below sea level. So there's lots and lots and lots of dikes. And I mean that in the historical correct sense, not in the insulting sense. And still got all the old pumping stations that pump the water to keep the land dry. So you can get flooded in the spring, not midsummer. Yeah, seasons are shifting though, aren't they? That's the problem. I don't know if other countries are noticing it as much, but we used to get our winter, snowy, nasty time would be around about Christmas time, December, maybe January. Nowadays, if we get snow, it's more likely March or April. Norfolk is kind of the Fens. The Fens are slightly more inland. It's more Cambridgeshire, Lincolnshire, Suffolky area. I mean, Norfolk wasn't fen because most of it was underwater. It's going to be 100 plus years. You can keep that. You can keep hold of that. We don't want that anywhere near here. Yeah, so historically, Norfolk was a waterway society. You know, everything got moved via waterways and rivers and stuffs. The wherries being a very famous part of it. Sweden got it first. We got part of it. Well, Sweden can have it, can't they? Sweden deserves it. It's full of Swedes. I'm just playing on the view from outside of the Nordic countries that Sweden and Norway are kind of like France and England. 39. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. 39 as in 4. So a much nicer temperature there, Mark. That's more my kind of temperature, 4 degrees Celsius. I can definitely deal with that. I mean, it's still shorts weather. Still shorts and t-shirt. You don't need to wear anything more than that at 4 degrees. Some Sweetener for the coffee. Ha-ha. Or some Swede to go into the Cornish pasty. Oof. unseasonably warm. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call it. I think climate change is probably more accurate. Oh, Norway is so pretty with the fjords and the mountains. Yeah, try living here when spring comes and we get hit by a freaking storm. Country isn't made for it. Yeah. So it's like hot weather in the UK. Our homes, buildings, everything is just not designed for hot weather. It's designed to keep heat in. Everything is keep heat in, keep the cold out. So when it gets hot, the houses just turn into giant storage heaters. Um, so it's warmer in my house than it is outside most of the time, even in midsummer when you think bit shade be nice. No, few days of sunshine and everything heats up and doesn't cool down. You know, when it rains and you can see the steam coming off of the roof. Snow you can do. We can't do snow over here. We can deal with rain, but we can't deal with snow. Crunchy rain we do struggle with. Although getting back to the fens and fenland, if you do a driving test in the fens, you don't have to do a hill start because there aren't any. Literally. So people from Fenland, so parts of Lincolnshire, Norfolk, Cambridgeshire, Suffolk, yeah, there just aren't any hills. Well, that was the weird thing about my ride on Thursday. It felt like it was downhill all the way, which is physically impossible because I ended up where I started. But yeah, I didn't really notice any uphills. Well, not until I got nearly home, anyway. So it must have been the uphills were a lot shorter and steeper than the downhills were. I did it. Paid for it afterwards and the next day, but I did it. And it gave me a taster for what the Peddars Way might be like when I get around to riding that next year. Whether that's 2 or 3 days is another matter. If you have a hill in the swamp, it will be an island. That's what Norfolk used to be like. If you look at all the sort of older, larger settlements, towns, city, they're all on hills. There's some smaller villages that are sort of either side of a river. But yeah, if you go back, Norway is drowning and Maui is burning. Yeah. Although Hawaii, yeah, I was going to go with a joke about volcanoes, so they're probably used to things being on fire, but that's probably in bad taste. Again, another thing we don't have to worry about in the UK: volcanoes or earthquakes. Well, we still get the odd earthquake, but it's the extent of what was that? Maybe a lorry went past. Yeah, I've literally felt one, and yeah, I just thought a lorry had driven past. And it wasn't until I heard it on the news later that there'd been an earthquake. Oh, that's what it was. You do get the odd tornado in Norfolk as well, but again, nothing worth reporting on actual news about. I mean, it makes like the local news look east. And today there was a tornado in Attleborough. It blew over a sandwich board and pulled 3 tiles off of the roof of the pub. That kind of a tornado. One that lasts for about 5 seconds and does less damage than a bunch of drunk England fans after a victory. Or just a general Friday or Saturday night in town. Although on my ride back, I did see, good point, we are all on islands. It's just whether they class as continents or not. And technically, we are all incontinents. So, you know. Yeah, there was a road traffic accident on my way home that I rode past. Didn't see anything online or on the news about it, so I don't think much too bad happened. But there was a car stopped, 2 police cars and an ambulance. Or was it 2 cars? There was 2 cars stopped, 2 police cars and an ambulance, and a bike laying in the verge. So I'm guessing someone either got knocked off or scared off their bike. Bike didn't look damaged, so hopefully the person wasn't too badly off. So the cars didn't look obviously damaged and the bike didn't look damaged, so hopefully it was just a bit of a wobble and a fall into the grass rather than a crunch, crunch, clump, bang, crash, wallop. Although, you know, still there were people being arses. So obviously the police have got that lane of the road blocked off, and I cycled along and the copper waved me through. I said, thank you very much. And I carried on cycling along. And then the cars at the other side, who were on the side of the road where the accident was, yeah, there were cars beeping and honking their horns. Why is this cycle allowed past and we're not? Because I'm on the right side of the road, dumbass. And yes, g'day, Stillwater. I'm going to open that back door up because I are overheating rapidly. Oh, God. Nobody wants to see me dripping sweat everywhere. Here's why I open it up, and the reason I'm getting hot is because it's getting humid and it's going to piddle down with rain in about 5 minutes. That'd be about right, wouldn't it? I'd leave the door open in that case. Oh, hello, Bobby Shelley's. What does my shirt say? It says, we chase misprinted lies, we face the path of time, and yet I fight this battle all alone. No one to cry to, no place to call home. The first verse of Nutshell by Alice in Chains. I'll pull it up, you'll see this Lane Staley sat there, or stood there. Rest in peace, Lane. That actually looks like I'm holding something up in front of myself, not just my t-shirt, doesn't it? It can't go wrong with some Alice in Chains. And obviously I prefer the older stuff when Lane was still alive and in the band and singing rather than William Duval, but needs must. And he's not a bad singer. It's just when you're being compared to Lane Staley, you're going to lose. Why do you think fry of any species grow slowly? Water change almost daily and food is live. much food and how often is probably the main thing. I've noticed on these shellies grow abysmally slowly. A 2-month-old shell dweller is like that big. Same with bristlenoses, they don't grow fast. Food twice a day minimum. So with fry, maybe step it up 3 or 4 times a day. And if you've not got enough live food for that, then just some crushed flake or something like that. What am I feeding them at the moment? The OAS organic baby flakes at the moment. Got egg yolks. Yes, packed with protein. And the shellies, as soon as you pick up the food, and they all come up to the top of the tank. So there we go. Pop some food in and feed the shelly dwellies. They never say no to a bit more grub, as they suddenly go on a mass feeding frenzy. And then burp afterwards. There we go. Yeah, burping shellies. There we go. That's what we all want to see. And the fry, which are all down in the creche down the back. So those ones you can see are about a month old. Grindle and white worms and some dry. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing the water changes every day, then it's not, or almost every day. You know, if you keep him well on top of it, then you're not going to sour the water, as it were, by feeding extra. So you can get away with chucking extra food in there. An algae wafer wouldn't go amiss. Yeah, I know you're thinking, what? Algae wafer? Yeah, it will sit on the bottom and it will gradually break down, and it breaks down into fine dust, doesn't it? So even the smallest fry can munch on algae wafers if needed. As I say, some fish just grow slowly. Rainbow fish in particular, I know, are super slow growers. So bristlies, that might just be the amount of food they can eat versus the amount of food I give them. Mostly because if I feed them more often, they poop more often, then I need to do water changes and clean out the filters more often. So yeah, I try to feed them a sensible amount, not, yeah. I'd rather not be having to water change and filter clean all these tanks twice a week. Oh, we have had one change. We have had a change, actually. If we look in here, Quiblets. So they are Pelvicachromis subocellatus juveniles. They're a month old. When you get what do you call somebody who gets turned on by every naked person they see? A showerhead. Or pan. Can you see if we can get closer without scaring them off? I mean, it's not like every time they see me they expect to get fed or anything. Fry range from Corey, so by that I'm going to guess the coop. And now we're back out of focus again. Ugh, silly camera. Are you going to do? No, it's not going to do the focus. Nah, still going to play silly beggars. Never mind, it will focus on something eventually. German rams, yeah, they grow slow anyway. Peacock gudgeons, the same. Yeah, 6 to 7 months before they're sellable. That does sound about right. Oh, come on, camera. Focus on something at least. Focus on something pretty like fishies. Fishies and planties. Yes, a rather grumpy looking happy Cara. He's dug himself out a nest, all ready for a girly, and there's no girlies. So, yeah. There we go. We got the autofocus back again. Our Siri, why am I so bad at talking to women? I'm Alexa, you idiot. Nanakara Anomala. In other words, Sam's thirsty. They're doing absolutely fine. The last lot of eggs went bye-byes. I'm not going to read that one out because I don't want to get accused of sexism. Is a blonde joke sexist? Only if you actually gender it. No. Probably wise, Sam. Like, we know you just putting jokes in chat and doesn't bother any of us. I'm pretty sure. Um, but you know, some people get really upset really easily. Oh, whoa! Someone said something offensive. Was it offensive to you? No, but it's offensive. Well, don't get offended then. Yeah. Being constantly offended. Oh, yeah, yeah. That's a you problem. I don't like it when people say this. Well, that's your problem, really, isn't it? Not everyone else's problem. Oh dear. Oh, we're getting down to dust at the end of the backy. Yeah. People are getting offended for other people that didn't ask for people to be offended about stuff for. Yeah. It's when I'm just taking this as an example. When someone tells a mildly racist joke that the punchline is the size of a black man's member, and then a white person gets offended, but all the black people are laughing. It's like, you don't see the problem there. It's not that the joke was offensive, it's that you're finding stuff offensive that isn't. Yeah. I mean, if comedians never told offensive jokes, we would be stuck with Tim Vine. And as funny as he is for about 2 minutes, you couldn't take an hour long, or I can't take an hour long show. I think he actually holds the record for the most jokes told in a minute. Eskimo pies all over again. Well, as long as it's not cream pies, we're okay. Um, or the no, we have to take Uncle Ben off of the packets of Uncle Ben's rice because it's racist to have a picture of a black man on. What? I don't know the history of Uncle Ben's rice. I just always assumed that Uncle Ben was the kindly happy looking black man on the cover, on the little picture, and he was like the person who started the company. I don't see where the issue is. Maybe he was a slave previously. I don't know. For what I know, perhaps he could have murdered his owners and took everything, but if we keep trying to wash over history and get rid of everything that is now seen to be a bad thing, then we're never going to learn from the history, are we? It's like the knocking over and defacing all the statues of people who may have done something a bit iffy in the past. The same thing with Aunt Jemima. Yeah, I'd say it's more racist or more offensive to remove, than leave in those cases. Did anyone ever think of Uncle Ben as anything other than a sort of affable, smiley-looking person whose picture was on a packet of rice? Did anyone ever think about it any deeper than that, or is it just me that just sees packaging and ignores it? I mean, names and faces that should be removed from things. Jamie Oliver. All the celebrity chefs that are now doing the adverts for the supermarkets. This super easy to make dish. Just use this, blah 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 blah. I'm looking and going, I know how much. Right, you just flashed up the price for that small portion of that. Yeah, that's like half my weekly food shop. I'm not buying that. I think there is actually a place for a YouTube channel of someone actually making affordable, sensible food that everyone can make. Admittedly, most people here are either American or Norwegian or Australian. But if you're familiar with like Jamie Oliver and his crusade for like healthy eating and quick meals and stuff, and you look at it and it's like, yeah, how long did it take you to prep all that stuff so that you could just throw it all in one pan? How long has that oven been heating up for? Do you really expect people to have fresh fenugreek in their cupboard? And all these weird and wonderful ingredients that you're adding? Because they don't. Most people might have a jar of curry powder. Or a couple of jars of dried herbs that went out of date in 2003. Yeah, you get it, don't you, Debs? It's like they do the affordable food. This is an affordable meal, and then they've got the oven on for 3 hours, and yeah, I'm pretty sure just the energy cost from that meal is going to be way above what it ought to be. Howdy, M&C. Mertenke, how you doing? Yes. I did kind of toy with the idea of me doing. Got some mixed herbs and some taco seasoning. Exactly. That's 99% of people. That's actually what they're going to have. I mean, I think I've got garlic salt, soy sauce, ginger for my belly, dried ginger, obviously, and teriyaki sauce. And the only reason I've got the teriyaki teriyaki and the soy is so that when I fry myself up some mince, I just pour a bit of that in the pan while it's frying, give it a stir around, and adds flavour. Also helps stop the mince sticking to the pan because my anti-stick pan is no longer anti-stick. Yeah, Worcestershire sauce. Yep, that's another one. I just haven't got any at the moment. And even then, I don't buy the Lee and Perrins. I just get the Lidl's own brand one. And Sam's been doing 240 squats at 7 o'clock in the morning. You know what I was doing at 7 o'clock this morning? I was basically doing this, except I wasn't speaking. I was having a fag, having a can of energy drink, and watching crud on YouTube. So what did I watch first when I got up? I think it was mainly Facts. His mainly Facts guy is cool, and I want to give him a hug. He looks like the kind of person who would appreciate a hug. Perhaps not from a random internet stranger, but you know. 7 hours watching it rain like crazy. That sounds a good one to me. I would quite happily sit and watch the rain for a considerable amount of time. And in fact, in the past, when there was a good thunderstorm, I would set my fishing chair up just outside the back door because it's got all the various attachments on it. Fishing brolly over the top because it attaches to the chair. Side table there with drink, ashtray, backy tin. You sit there watching the thunderstorm, watching the rain and the lightning, with that little dude sat in my lap watching it with me. Some great times were had. With froggies hopping around in the garden. Which is probably why he was sat in my lap, because he didn't like frogs. He tried to eat one once and it screamed at him. He never went near one again. Sometimes if it's raining hard, I'll get one hop in the back door. And yeah, if he was in, there was a frog by the back door, then he would come and see me and ask me to move it. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Evening, Daniel-san. How you diddling? Yariba? Did you get stormed out earlier in the week? Whatever storm it was came through. Was it Antonio or something? And that reminds me, I've got to catch up because you've been uploading a lot of videos lately. So I'll have to sit and watch those and make a trollish comment. Or if there happens to be one, just happy Cara. Good evening. I like it, Dan. I like her style. Yes. And yeah, everyone here, I'm assuming, is subscribed to Dan. If not, why not? You should be. He makes awesome videos. He just sucks at catching fish outside of a tank, that's all. Pardon me. And we got the edge of the storm, so it went in between us then. We got the bottom edge, he must have got the north edge. So it must have gone in between. Oh well. Oops, I am now. So good morning. Oh, I am now. Oh dear, Mark. You probably were. What I will say is YouTube probably unsubscribed you randomly at some point. Likes to do that. Yeah, but it makes for good content, Dan. This is the thing. So much of what we see on the tube of you is people succeeding all the time. Things always going right. Maybe not in the fish fan. You know, a lot of our a lot of fish family type videos or fishy type videos do tend to be a mega disaster or all my fish are dead. I do try and steer clear of those. That was my idea for a video. If I was going to put one up this week, would be about rest in peace Ginger and Missy Pisto. But I figured there's enough negative news around, so we'll leave it. It's not like me losing a pleco is a world affecting problem. I reckon I could probably grow out another female to breeding size before I sell out of them. So let's be honest, I've got 2.5 tanks and I've got another lot in the breeder box. So I think the one I stuck in the shrimp tank is a female. So we'll soon find out. When she gets to a couple of inches, we'll go, have you got any bristly bits? Nope, I don't see any bristly bits. Out you come. You can go in with Fred. You can be Ginger the second. It just depends on how rapey Fred is. Hopefully not. He's normally quite a good boy. He does have to sit there and waggle his bristles, or did have to sit there and waggle his bristles all pretty and hope that Ginger went into the cave. In here, though, I'm pretty sure that it's not up to Spotty when they were babies. I think it's more up to Bertie. I think she decides she's had enough of carrying the eggs and goes in there and drops them, and he's like, oh, you can you can do with them what you will now, mate. Walk the line between nearly got it right and all the fish died. That's pretty much what we all do, though. It's what we strive for. Because if we get everything right, then, you know, nothing goes wrong. We don't learn new things. So I've got no idea why two previously totally healthy fish in the same tank, which has 4 fish in it. It was Missy Pisto, little female epistogramma. And I get the feeling they weren't ever going to breed, because she was permanently in her breeding plumage and he never showed any interest. So I'm starting to think he might be a bit of a limp wrist, or whether it's because he's got a slight mouth deformity, she didn't want to breed with him. I don't know, but yeah, it's sad to see Ginger go, but as we said, it's one bristle nose. Like I'm not exactly sure, and yeah, it still sucks. I just wish I knew why, because they were both healthy. So it might have been the snails. Shouldn't be no nitrate levels in there because everyone else is happy. I'd have thought if the ammonia or nitrate or something had spiked, then the baby bristlenoses would have kicked the bucket first, but they're all okay. So yeah, pass. It's a shame because they were both very lovely fish. Ginger's fins were just absurd, and well, Missy Pisto was always very friendly. She always came up the front of the tank and said hello. Have we got any longfin thickerheads out and about? There's some chunky ones over there. They're looking a bit cloudy. Actually, all of them are looking a bit cloudy at the moment. Never mind. Water change day tomorrow anyway, so yeah, got one of those weeks where I've got to do the water changes and then go to work. Joy. So no naps for me for at least another 2 days. And, yeah, we don't always get a shot at figuring out what the heck happened. Sometimes these things do just happen. Missy Cara might have been egg bound, for all I know. She might have had something else wrong internally. Ginger might just, I mean, bless her, the amount of time she's bred. You know, it's. I mean, she wasn't the biggest of female bristlenoses. I mean, Bertie is way bigger than she was. But then I think the long fins do tend to be smaller in body size. Yeah, sometimes a coincidence is just a coincidence. Say if I could maybe understand if Ginger kicked the bucket first and then that possibly caused an ammonia spike, which might have killed Missy Pisto. But then I would have expected the ammonia spike to kill baby bristlenoses in there as well. And they're all okay. Snails are all okay. Mr. Pisto and Fred are fine. You know, I say it's probably the worst part of this hobby is that fish die. And you know, it's not like a dog where a dog or a cat or something where you take it to the vet and get medicine or whatever. It's, you know, if a dog or a cat or something is a bit off, Romeo and Juliet, possibly. But yeah, it's weird that both females died and not the male. so literally, I've got a severely understocked Fluval Flex now. It's literally got, other than the fry, one male Apisto and one male bristlenose in it. We're going to do something about that. Rachel and Juliet, exactly. So the other news, one of my LFSs is closing down in the next couple of months. One that I've kind of supplied in the past. They've not said why. I'm just assuming not making enough money or not making any money. So I might have to go down there and raid and see what they've got, because there's going to be some reduced prices, I think. I think they said everything 20% off at the moment, so maybe leave it another week. I kind of had an inkling that they might be going though. One of those, when you start seeing an LFS that's selling this, selling their tanks, selling a rack of tanks, is like, you're sizing down, aren't you? Why would you downsize and reduce the amount of tanks you've got and the amount of stock you've got? So yeah, that was my. So it wasn't to me a huge surprise, but obviously I'm going to take advantage. And it's probably why they didn't get back to me about buying some bristlenoses. So yeah. Might have to go down there and see what they got. Pardon me. See if they got anything fun and interesting that can live with bristle noses in a 15-gallon tank. I'm sure I'll find something. Something that I can breed, preferably. There we go. There's a question for everyone. All 10 of you. 15-gallon tank. Already, we're going to say it's already got a pair of breeding bristle noses in it. What fish would you put in there to breed? I'm pretty sure Dan's going to go with peacock gudgeon. Tempted with Bolivian rams. Problem then is I've got to find someone to put Mr. Pisto. And the Limia don't like dwarf cichlids. They beat them up and kill them. So, although he could easily live in one of these, not a problem. Or more likely the bottom one. It'd probably clear out because I guarantee there's probably some Limia in that bottom tank. They seem to get everywhere over this side of the fish room, so. So I mean, I did try peacock gudgeon once in the past, and they didn't do very well. But whether that was the tank, me, my water, or the fish themselves, I don't know. I bought a trio, and one died in about 2 days. One lasted another couple of weeks, and I think the other one was about another month or so. So yeah, we'll figure something out. I've got a spare tank I can use as a quarantine. It's got to put a heater in it and a filter, and job done. Refill it with water. Another strain of Neos. Yeah, I could, or not necessarily strain. I could do another shrimpy tank, I suppose. Stick some shrimplies in there. It's a well sorted tank, or this is the other one I've been thinking. Possibly strip everything out of the tank and redo it. Change out the substrate, remove the snails because there's thousands of them in there. Admittedly, I'm not going to get all the snails, but at least reduce the numbers to a sensible level. Maybe thin out some of the planting as well because you can't really see much in there now. So yeah, Neos, yeah, another bout of shrimp would be quite cool. And I would be happy with bristlies. But then I've got, yeah, that's a thought. Obviously, I would have to take out Mr. Apisto if I was going to put any shrimp in there because the size of his mouth, he'd quite happily eat adult cherry shrimp, or adult shrimp of any dwarf variety. I do keep thinking about maybe another live bearer, like a split fin goodyead or something like that. Most of them either get rather large or aggressive. I was thinking about some of the red tails, but apparently they do like to pick out the eyes of bottom feeding fish, which we don't want blind bristle noses. So yeah, maybe Bolivian rams. We'll see. something shiny will turn up. It makes me go, ooh, me wanty. So I'm definitely saying no to German blue rams or black knight rams or gold rams or one thing white clouds, CPDs. So see, I've tried CPDs. I've still got one left in the shrimp tank. Same with the white clouds. Pair of wild betters. If I could get hold of a pair of wild better locally, but then it's mind you, the wild betters you don't have to do the individual cup things, do you, with them, with the fry? I'll see. Might even just go for a different flavour of cribs because cribs are easy enough to breed, and if you got a different flavour than the what's the original Pelvica chromis? Oh, Pulcher. That's the one. Pelvica chromis Pulcher. If you got one of the other ones, then they do sell. Actually, trying to sell standard cribs is a nightmare because so many people buy them because they're pretty little fishies, and then they breed, and then they get stuck with hundreds of baby cribs. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again because it's rather hard to sell fish when people are taking them in randomly going, please take these. So maybe some Taniatus or something like that. Is that the Nigerian red face? Yeah, I'll say it's either going to be something like a very small live bearer, or I've not actually bred any egg scatterers yet. If you don't, well, I wouldn't class cories as egg scatterers. I've bred a few cories. Another different, nicer pisto. Yeah, so I think part of the problem I have with the pistos is they don't particularly like my water. Water's a bit hard for them. Because I had, what were the other ones I had? They were gorgeous. Can't remember what they were called. I've got a picture though. Get the glare off somewhere around. Yeah, that's probably better. I had those ones, but they didn't do particularly well. Right. Oh, Tommy! He's stuck on the ads. Oh dear. Breed rice fish again, so slow. Tommy. Yeah, I'll say again, rice fish. They're cool, pretty little fish. Relatively easy to breed. Don't really sell very well around here. It's one of those weird ones where I know it's kind of wrong in that I want fish that I can breed and sell and make money from. To me, that is of more importance than how pretty the fish are, if you get what I mean, or how cool the fish are. But yeah, I'm not really bred egg scatterers of any description. 33.5 in the fish shed. Ooh dear. And that's with the aircon on. Yeah. No, thank you. Only buy fish I can breed and sell. Yeah, so it's fish I can breed and sell. So I also have to take into account what sells around here. So it's like with the Nanakari, yes, eventually they're breeding quite happily. They're just not quite figuring out how to keep babies alive yet. I'm thinking moving the eggs into the clown pleco's cave is probably not the best idea, which they seem to be doing at the moment. Well, yeah, it's the stuff that I can breed that the LFSs that I supply can then sell. They've got a demand for. Um, Whether it's something that is quite expensive, like the Super Reds, that they can then sell cheaper because I can supply them cheaper than they can buy them. Um, or if not, the same price that they can buy them in for, and they get larger fish that have 100%. Uh, yeah, 100% survival rate. They don't get any X fishies from me. They get tucked into the IPS. It's like, cool yourself off. Definitely. Um, yeah, so interesting one. Something to think about anyway. Quick fire round. Hurry, one thing you have to take if you're going to collect fish for your fish room. What is it? A thermally insulated bag, or a net, or a fish trap. If you're going out to collect fish, yeah, a bucket helps. Beers. Yeah, you've got to have a bucket and a net, or a trap, and bait for the trap. Car keys. That usually helps. What did you forget, Tommy? Did you forget the bucket, the net, um, weed? Yeah. Air pump. Well, that depends how far you're going. I'm going to go with you remembered the bucket, but if you forgot a net. Because a bucket you can improvise. You can use a plastic bag or something like that if you need to. Cheetos, a hamburger, a pizza. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've forgotten things when I've gone fishing before. But it's usually been things like rod rest. Go hit some of the secret springs that nobody knows about. Ooh. Now, though, that's some videos we want to see, Tommy. We want to see you splashing about in the water in your Speedos with your bucket and your net. I never forgot bait when I went fishing. I have done the one where I've gone with ledger rod, feeder rod, quiver tip, and actually forgotten to take the box with the swim feeders in, or the method feeders, um, and taking my float box with me instead. Yeah, don't try fishing with fishing floats with a quiver tip rod. It doesn't work. Shipping bags is illegal in Texas. Texas, pull the water out of a pond or water source and move it to another. Yeah, but if you don't put that water into your tanks, then you're not breaking the law, because you can transport the fish home in that water, and then you can go back and pour that water back into the spring it came out of. Diving off the rocks and splashing around in the water definitely doesn't help. Yeah, definitely not. I'll let you in on a tip here. What you really want to do, if you can, is leave the traps in overnight. That's when you'll catch fish. Or go down there in the morning and come back in the evening if you can. If you'll tip me, I will wear the shortest shorts I have. Oh yeah, Tommy in the short shorts, the cut-off jean shorts where the pockets hang down lower than the shorts are. I'm sure the ladies would love to see that. And Lefty. I mean, even I might have to fap at that. Yeah, proper pair of Daisy Dukes, budgie smugglers. Banana hammock helps catch fish. That it does. I suppose now identify as a very feminine piece of sliced cucumber. Well, that's okay because I identify as a fat bastard. So, I mean, literally, if someone asks, if I went to a job or something somewhere, so what do you identify as? I would literally say a fat something or other. Um, which minority group do you represent? I represent Sharpe group. There is one member. We've got zebra mollusks. Texas don't play around with the possibility of moving around. They're tiny. But what I learned on fish plants in mass yesterday from pilot quakes. Have you got a bottle of water with you to drink from? Because if it's tiny little mollusks, you can soon chuck them in the drinking water bottle. Mint green short shorts. True overprivileged t-shirt. Yes. Don't forget the fake Rolex as well. Doesn't mess me up last time. I went fish trapping, had catfish snout, cat food bait, yeah. Neon orange shorts. It just made the minor mistake of jumping into the water that the wild fish are in. Wild fish are still scared of human. Yeah, cat food sandwiches. Or if you go somewhere that does have crayfish, if there's any crayfish infested waterways around you, cat food is the best bait for catching crayfish. You literally get a net, you punch a few holes in the catfish tin or cat food tin and stick it in the net and chuck it in the water and job done. Leave it a few hours and it'll be full of crayfish. We do have crayfish in the UK. We have our own flavour, which is the little, we do the little dinky British one. And then we have the nasty, horrible, invasive signal crayfish from America, which is killing all our natives. So up where you are, you're probably more likely to have the native flavour. And howdy, Mark Purdy. How you doing? Good to see you. You can bring your own water to put your collections in. You just cannot remove the water from one body to another pond or tank. I'm guessing that's probably something to do with Texas being fairly bone dry, and any bit of water that they want, they're going to have. Bun, darling, how are you? Mwah. Always good to see you, Bun. Oh yeah, there's. Oh Christ, where you're from, the River Lee is infested, and the Thames. And when I was a wee bairn, we used to go minnowing, as we and sticklebacking, the classic net and janja, um, in the River Stort, which flows into the Lee, which flows into the Thames. Yeah, literally every time someone got bitten by a crayfish. And that was the first time I actually caught a pike as well. And that was when me and my friends found out that pike bite. And I was like, oh, cool, I've caught this. I don't know what it is. And then one of my friends went to grab it out of the net to look at it, and it bit him. It was only like that size. Afternoon, Mark. Never once went fishing in the Thames. Yeah, I was like back in like the 80s, you didn't want to go anywhere near the Thames. You didn't have to wait for it to freeze over to walk across it back then. You could have just walked across the floating turds. What have you done, Mark? You've been absolutely awesome and a complete gentleman, I'm sure. That's probably what it is. Um, yeah, the Thames is a lot healthier now than it used to be, that's for sure. All the fish are coming back. That's the main sign. Um, I say coming back, they're gradually just making their way back downstream. Is that, oh, it's not toxic here anymore. Yeah, the Thames estuary, one of the few estuaries in the world where the chances of you catching a disease was much higher than you catching a fish. That was the old joke about the North Sea coast, wasn't it? Really, Dan? But yeah, fewer plague victims in it. Yeah. Um, oh, well, we all love you, Bun Bun. Howdy, Ricky. How you doing? Oh, birthday cake. Ooh, church services. I've not attended one of them since high school. Was it high school? No, it'd have been college. It wasn't by choice. I was like, you have to go to church on Sunday or you will go to hell and burn. Right. Yeah, I'm going to be surfing the lake of fire and listening to the good tunes. Though it's like, so you're telling me that all these musicians that I like are going to hell, but all the ones I don't like are going to heaven. Right. So you're giving me the choice between listening to Cradle of Filth or Cliff Richard for eternity. Not a very tricky choice. Exactly. A much better company in hell. Um, Far more interesting people to talk to as well, I think. Save my eternal soul and repent from listening to Taylor Swift. Romeo, maybe ever had to be alone. That's all I really know. Yeah. Stopped singing old Taylor Swift songs. Yeah, farting. That's far more superior. The last Taylor Swift album I'm remotely familiar with is 1989. And I do have it somewhere around here. I have no idea. Tommy's been a member for 7 months. And Linkbot is only 7 months out of date. There we go. Yay, internet. Hey, if I get a copyright strike for singing a Taylor Swift song, that would be the most hilarious thing ever. Because I would make a video about that. Yes, exactly, Mark. I've been a member my whole life as well. Yellow lost the chat again. It's all right. We're just talking about Taylor Swift. Don't worry. Sounds so much like her. You mean without the auto tune? Did I say that out loud? This coming from a guy that will honestly rather listen to me sing than so cold. You have my sympathies. You must be absolutely tone deaf. I'll try to remember the words to it. If I can remember the actual words to a Taylor Swift song, I probably would sing it. Just to see what happens. Oh, I haven't got my guitar down here either. Oh dear. 137% tone deaf. There we go. Let's see me and Taylor Swift doing a duet at the Super Bowl. Somehow I can't see that ever happening. I know they say you should never say never, but the chances of me being invited to sing with Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl, yeah, I think there's more chance of the Pope wanting to visit me. Scrub Crocs today, like the interns. Surprisingly, I like doing these things myself all over again. Yeah, I'd rather watch you twerking than singing at the Super Bowl. To be honest, it'd be the most entertaining part of it. Because yeah, I still just can't get my head around American rugby. It's like you took all the good bits of rugby, left them out, and then every 2 seconds hit the pause button. Wife is making me go to the gym, weighing at 250. You have my sympathies. So I can go suck an egg. I'm a believer. Oh, God. Got to get the ad breaks in. Yeah. Yeah. If any ads do show up in the middle, I did, because there's been another updatey thing where you now have to click either auto or manual ads, and I clicked manual, so hopefully there shouldn't be any turning up in the middle of the stream. Yeah, no. If I was to get behind any modern music, probably Macklemore. Not listened to, but aware of. Although I mean, it's a year-old song, but new to me. Um, and I know Dan's going to like it, and I think Deb liked it when she heard it. Um, that's supposed to be misplaced, but you know, to my offspring is off modern. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Yeah, I know that's the worst Offspring song that ever was, but it's the first one that comes to mind. But yeah, Avantasia, Misplaced Among the Angels. If you've not heard it, do the tappy tappy on BoobTube and the video will come up. Awesome tune. Very, very 80s power ballad. All the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. Why don't you get a job? Forget who that was who actually said that to me while I was out of work. Ooh, sing some more for us. Oh God, I really am going to get a copyright strike here, aren't I? Yeah. Misplaced Among the Angels. That's the one, Danny boy. I reckon you'll like it. Yeah, there are some nice butts in the vid. But, you know, I'd rather watch Nightwish live at Hellfest. Yeah, there's some. Yeah. Floyd Hansen headbanging in a corset. I'll just leave it there. I'll say, call me. I'm not listening to classic music like Pink Floyd or Rush, definitely some Dropkick Murphys or Flogging Molly. So I had you down as more of a Molly Hatchet fan. Is it Molly Hatcher? Yeah, it's Molly Hatcher, isn't it? I'm traveling down the road and I'm flirting with disaster. Thank you very much. Yep, you'll enjoy it, Dan. And oh, Ricky's got to go feed the gliders. And another one that I say everyone will love. I mean, if you've got any kind of love for music, this one will hit the spot. And it's not a depressing song, despite the fact that it being about everyone dying. And if you watch that one, watch the live version. Oh boy. Actually, while we got a couple of Aussies here, how famous is Michael Mills and Toehider in Australia? Because the guy is mega talented. And it almost seems like nobody knows who he is. Michael Mills, not Michael Mills from REM. This is a different Michael Mills. There we go. And that's his band. I say band. He plays all the instruments, does all the production, recording, and sings. And he's got a 4-octave voice. No, not Toefish Rebecca. Oh God, how the hell did I know that? Oh my God. Shoot me now. Ye gods, I got the Neighbours reference. Jesus, Dan, how embarrassing. I'd rather be known for badly singing Taylor Swift songs than knowing about Neighbours. Went to a Molly Hatchet concert. In a blizzard, only hundreds showed up. I'm sure it was still a very entertaining time. Lots of little pieces of paper with dots on going around, I can imagine. Lots of herb salesmen. It is after the 80s, it's current, Mark, but it's one of those where you find out about someone and you're like, how is this not like massively famous. But this crap I just heard on the radio is, oh yeah, marketing. So hard. Yes. Modern Peter Gabriel, really cool. Yeah, he is. He's got a mental voice, hasn't he? Scott and Charlie. Was that Angry Adams? Or Angry Anderson? Was that the one? Because he did the main theme. Angry Anderson? It was something like that, wasn't it? I think he might have done the wedding song as well. It certainly wasn't G.G. Allen or Danny Filth. Now that would have been funny. Yeah. So anyway, those are some of the things I've been listening to recently. Lead singer for Rose Tattoo. Yep, that's the one. He did the theme tune for Neighbours, and I think he did the wedding song as well. And he probably made more money out of those two songs than he ever made out of the rest of his career. No, I'm not knocking the rest of his career, but you know, something that was syndicated or played for about, I don't know. Neighbours only just ended, didn't it, a few years ago? So what would that be? 80s, 90s, nearly 40 years. Oh dear. Chance to talk, chance to grow. I'll take the risk, let my feelings show. Nothing, nothing was music after that was released. Now come on, Dan. You know you like Nightwish. And they're still current. They may be on a bit of a break at the moment, mainly due to lead singer pregnancy things, but and I think the rest of the band needed a bit of a break as well because they're not young anymore. I think the drummer's nearly 60. So, Rose Tattoo open for ZZ Top on the Eliminator Tour Down Under. Oh, ZZ Top, now you're talking. Except Nightwish. Well, Avantasia is still going as well, so when you listen to that, you'll like that. And so if you do like your prog, then Arion is a great place to go. While I remember, bye bye, and see you later, Zen. You have my sympathies for having to go to the gym. This is one reason I started cycling, because it means I can do enjoyable exercise alone without a bunch of skinny, fit people staring at me going, ew, ew. With a sweat and grunt everywhere. When I hear Lagrange, I think of Silver Creek. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah, Swamp Boogie. And skinny people like me that stare and go, man, I wish I could put some weight on. Well, that bit's easy. How you do that is you eat more food and you do less exercise. It's easy to put the weight on because you just get to do fun stuff and you get fatter. Yeah, I mean, you can see your feet, Tommy. Some of us can't. I mean, that's probably more due to the size of my feet than anything. Yeah, one of the ladies at work bought a pair. Bear in mind, she's like this tall and probably about half my weight. She bought a pair of shoes and apparently they didn't fit. For some reason, she left them at work. I think she may have walked to work in them. and they fit me. So yeah, I was walking around in a pair of ladies' wedges for about 5 minutes the other day at work. Apparently, they were very impressed that I could walk in heels. I'm like, yeah, I have experience. Surprised no one's created a fat guy's gym yet. Yeah, with a donut machine instead of a latte machine. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, back when I was working in the convenience store, the amount of people that would come in looking rather sweaty wearing their gym clothes and then buy like energy drinks and chocolate bars and stuff. And you just done your exercise to lose weight, and now you're coming in to buy sugary, fatty food. That's kind of not going to work. The whole point of burning the calories is to not replace them afterwards. Fat guy's gym is called McDonald's. Have a lifetime membership. Oh yes. What I reckon we should do is close all the gyms down and just replace them with places you can go for a nap. You know, take out all the machines, just put up like little dividers, have little cots or something, like camp beds, and just, I don't know, pay a fiver an hour to go for a nap. I can see that being fairly popular. The Napnasium. Camp beds for gay nappers. What about the air beds then? Oh, you take the treadmills out, obviously. Yeah, fat guy's gym, it's just a front for a room full of good food. Blondes. Yeah. Air beds, airheads, good one. Um, oh dear. What other kind of weird, random, wonderful beds could you have? Futons. There we go. People who just like being uncomfortable. Yeah, the futons are for the people who used to actually go to the gym. Yeah, that's something I never really understood. Happy hippos. Oh yeah, that's one thing I never really understood about gyms. They all have like a row of exercise bikes. It's like, so people will willingly pay to go sit indoors and stare at a wall and ride a bike, rather than like go outside and get fresh air and see nature. I don't know. I mean, the only reason I would get an exercise bike would be if you could plug it in, not so it had a screen that told you all kinds of useless information about how far you've gone, how many watts you produced and calories you burnt, but it's a generator that just feeds power back into the grid. Is that a good idea, do you reckon? Exercise bikes that you plug in, they produce electricity. So you can exercise and save money on your energy bill. Pardon me. I think that would probably do a lot more for increasing the overall levels of fitness and fighting the obesity epidemic, especially with the price of energy is at the moment. If you could pedal for an hour a day and power your fish tanks, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Yeah, exactly. They've got the gyms and treadmills and all. Yeah, just go outside and do your running and your walking and your biking, and you don't have to go into a building to do it. You can go out and do it on the open roads. And I think, much like here. Okay, I'm in a town, but go half a mile, and you're out in country lanes with very little traffic. Can you glide on? Not really. So downhills aren't as fun on an exercise bike. You can't just stand up and give your butt a rest and just roll along and enjoy the view and go, look at this lovely, beautiful countryside, all these animals, trees, plants, rivers. They'd rather stare at a screen or a wall or a window out onto a parking lot. Than actually go out and touch grass. I'm guessing nature is scary to some. -40 here at times, so a bike ride would be a challenge. Or you can just go stand outside and shiver for a bit. That'll burn a lot of calories. Welcome back, Ricky. Oh, what could you do? -40, you can go skiing. Get a set of cross-country skis and just go for a slide. And you die. Yeah, well, it's a minor problem. Yeah, chances of me dying on a bike ride are probably higher than the chances of me dying sat in my armchair. You would lose weight, but exactly. So I'm not necessarily worried about losing weight. I'd just rather get a bit fitter. That's, as I'm aging rapidly, keep the body in at least a semblance of fitness. I want to ski, but the slopes scare the crap out of me. Yeah. I mean, I've skied a couple of times. My knees can't take it anymore. But yeah, I mean, it is basically sliding down a hill on a pair of planks with a couple of sticks to stop yourself. Once you get the hang of doing the snow plow to slow yourself down, or turning to slow yourself down as well, it's actually quite fun. It is hell on your knees and ankles, but how do you know? Nathan, how you doing? Yeah, so got notifications on. It says I haven't got any. Miss so much. I do apologise. Well, you're not missed much, Nathan. Let's be honest. 90-kilo projectile coming down a slope. Oh, the slope ends at some point, Ricky. Generally there's an upslope at the end of a downslope, so eventually you just go stop in the middle somewhere. It's like downhill mountain biking. I could probably do it on some of the more sensible trails, but some of the more gnarly ones, let's just say, I'd be like, I'm going to get off and walk for a bit. This doesn't look safe. Again, that's an age thing. Go up and down and then back up to the heavens. I just keep going down. Yeah, no. Yeah, as I say, I just get off and walk. It's the age, because I think it's probably once you hit 30, maybe a little bit older, you start realizing that when you hurt yourself, it takes a lot longer to heal. And the older you get, the longer it takes, and you don't bounce like you did when you were a kid. I mean, there were times I fell off my bike as a child where if I did it now, I'd probably be in a hospital for 6 months if I did the same thing. Back when we were taking our rally choppers and grifters and Schwins or whatever they were, cheapy BMXs off jumps made out of a plank and a couple of milk crates, landing on the road. And there was one, it was actually the big 50 coming for you October. Oof, you have my sympathies, Mark. I've got 2.5 more years yet before I hit that. So I'm trying to keep the heart in slightly better condition, so that when that comes, and it's not going to be so painful trying to make myself fitter. Young bucks. And I'll say it's, I'd rather not have a heart attack if I can help it, is basically what I'm saying. Hello, 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 there's Big Shrimpin. How you doing? Just in time for us to almost end. Well, actually, it is time. I've done me 2 hours. Cool, dear, that went quick. Well, last hour and a half did. The first half hour kind of dragged. It's because I didn't have anything to say, really. But there we go. It's amazing how much waffle and ramble I can come up with. I'll be singing a Beatles classic in September. Yeah, we'll still need you and we'll still feed you. You can click on people's names and go to their channel. When do they put that back? Ooh, 50% upload completed. I'm not making it that long. I'm probably about 75% by now. Yeah, that's good that they put that one back. That was really annoying when they took that out. But yeah. Thank you, Deb. Have a good week. And the same for everyone else, because we've done our time here. I'll let you go back to something more normal and sensible. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye-bye. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Monday sucks do 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 do. Monday sucks do 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 do. Monday sucks do 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 do. Ah. Ooh.